in this video, I wanted to go over some of the books I've been reading for the past half a year or so. So before this set of books, I didn't really have a habit of reading. Like, I would read maybe news articles, but not any books. So just through this half a year of reading, it's helped me come to realize that reading is a great way to just spend your time to learn more from experts, and also like a great replacement for just mindless scrolling on your phone. So the first book I read is George Orwell's 1984. So this is the book that actually helped me build up my habit of reading. So as I mentioned before, before these set of books, I didn't even read at all, and reading even a page was kind of painful, as in I wanted, just when reading the page, I was reading the words, but I was just starting to think, oh, when is it over, or when can I stop reading? So the way I used to kind of ease into it was I found an audiobook for 1984 online, and eventually I was reading faster than audiobook, so I decided to just start reading it, the book myself. And the way I did it was that I would just start small. I would do maybe a page or two a day, and then gradually I got more interested in the story, so I did up to a chapter a day, and then if you just keep that up, you will finish the whole book. So I don't remember too much from the book because I did read it a while ago, but the main takeaway I got from the book was that a lot of, this book was kind of Orwell's warning about what could happen if I guess people in power were left unchecked, and then a lot of things that happened in the book, because this book is a dystopian novel. A lot of things that happen in the book kind of parallel what is happening today, which is really I guess concerning. And I really liked the book, and I would recommend anyone read it, just to, if they want to kind of understand where a bit about how people in power can oppress people in society, or just people looking for some fiction to read, but also I kind of feel it's fictional, between fiction and non-fiction, just because of how many things right now in the modern world mirror or bear similarity to what's happening in 1984. Alright, so the next book I read was Atomic Habits by James Clear. And so again, I really recommend this book for anyone to read. So the origin of the name Atomic Habits, the idea is just atomic is really small. And so his idea is, if you build good small habits, over time these habits will compound and lead to large improvements in your life. And some of the main takeaways I got from this book was that so your habits and identity are in a positive feedback loop. Your habits form your identity, and then in return your identity influences your habits. So one example would be through smoking. If you are a smoker but you wanted to quit, if you successfully change your mindset into that, so that your identity is that of a non-smoker, then every time you see a cigarette, you would think, oh, I'm not a smoker, so I'm not going to smoke. I don't have the habit of smoking. And then so that reinforces your identity that you're a non-smoker. and then next time you wouldn't have the habit of smoking again. So this could be applied to both stopping negative habits and improving good habits. And the main concept of the book is that a habit has 4 parts: a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. And the idea is you can apply different strategies to both good and bad habits to help you reduce bad habits and same thing idea, right? Reduce bad habits and improve good habits. Yeah, and I think James Clear runs a newsletter or something. So the way each chapter is structured is it feels like kind of like a blog post. Like each chapter is a different blog post talking about its own thing. So this was a pretty easy read, and I've actually started to put some of the tips in the book to use. So one of the main tips is called what's it called? Oh, I didn't write it down. But I guess just one of the ways is having a just making it obvious is what it's called. So this is about the cue part. So the idea is you want to make your good habits obvious by, for example, if you want to brush your teeth, then the typical example is if you want to work out, then leave your workout clothes out on the bed, and then so when you see it, you would think, oh, I should work out. So the way I've been doing is I printed a list of the habits I want to do, and I stuck it on my wall. So every day I just look at my wall, I will see in the morning I should do some squats before other stuff, or at night I should put my phone and laptop away by 10:30, for example. So this is one of the ways I've been using the tips in the book. So and then the main, I guess another takeaway I got from this book was that the reason you should read books is that it's not that the information isn't available in a summarized form. There are many summaries of atomic habits online, but the process of absorbing that information doesn't happen through just reading a quick summary that takes you 5 minutes. It happens through just the book constantly repeating the same message, or you reading a chapter and then coming back to the book to kind of reflect on oh, this is how I could apply this tip to my life. So I think that's one of the values that books provide over just summarized tips on oh, here's what you should do or here's what you shouldn't do. And then another book I read was this one. What was it? So it's 治療手記. So for physiotherapists and occupational therapists. So you can think of it as different physiotherapists and occupational therapists sharing their experiences and special cases on in their career. So the one that stuck out to me the most was a physiotherapist talking about how a minibus driver experienced neck pain, but this only occurred after he woke up. And so after some investigation, it turns out the reason for his neck pain was that he was sleeping on an ancient jade or stone, hard pillow basically. And so after discovering that, so everyone would go oh, that would think that's pretty obvious, but the patient himself didn't realize. So the physiotherapist basically recommended that he find an appropriate pillow and then leave that ancient stone pillow, whatever, just keep it as an artifact, something like that. So but yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. So and honestly, I only read this book because I wanted to prepare for my physiotherapy interview, but yeah, I kind of got lazy and I only read one chapter before my interview actually happened. So yeah, but like I knew I was going to physiotherapy anyway, so that's why I read the rest of the book, just to see, just like get to know these different cases. So I wouldn't say I learned much from the book like factually, but it was interesting to see the different experiences of these like professors and experts in the physiotherapy and occupational therapy fields. And then the next book I read was this one. This book is, I guess, translates to, what does this translate to? Can studies for shut-ins, I guess. Yeah. And so I picked up this book, like it was a free book on the street, so and it looked, I didn't know what the hell they're talking about with the can, but so that's why I picked it up. And then the info in it is a bit outdated because it was published in 2010, but I think this is a good start for like actual shut-ins, as in like if they want to elevate your personal image. Yeah, but I did skim like this book because I feel like I knew a lot of this knowledge already. So the main idea of the book is the can analogy. Like you are, like, at least for guys, like you are like a can, and the question the author posed was, how do people pick cans at the supermarket? And then he said or suggested that there are three things that people look at when picking a can: the packaging, which translates to your appearance; the content of the can, like what's inside the can, which translates to your personality; and then where the can is placed on the shelf, which translates to like how often do you go out there and like how hard is it for other people to know you. So and then the author basically just goes straight into practical tips like how to style your hair. And then I think a funny point the author made was that guys can only show their face, as opposed to girls who can show off their figure with like different types of clothing. So that's why your hair and your face, like for guys, is very important. And this is something honestly, my hair, like for me, I want to work on my hair, but at the same time I'm kind of too lazy to find a stylist. But I think this summer I should find one to like style my hair better, basically. And then the author also touches it on skincare and clothing, but I think I'm okay with these. Yeah, because before my acne was really bad, so I had to learn about skincare, like toners, like AHA, BHA, different whatever, to sunscreen and so on, to reduce my acne. Yeah. And then clothing, just basic tips, right? Get clothing that fits you well, neutral colors, and like most people would have these already. And then the second part of the book is about speed dating, but and then his idea makes sense. Like his idea is you can use speed dating as a way to meet new people, and like your goal is to build friendships first instead of like finding yourself a date, because but I guess like but the idea is this is for like shut-ins who have like no social experience, I guess. So yeah, like I kind of just skimmed that part and then just left it there. But I think like the main analogy, or the main story about like the can relating to you, like is a pretty good way to understand how to present yourself. Okay, and then so the fifth, well, I guess no, I didn't really read this book. I started this book. So the fifth book I looked at was the 4 Hour Workweek, and then kind of the same thing. I like picked it up it was like a free book, and that someone didn't want, and I picked it up. So I'm not too sure about this book because I like the idea of like the new rich mindset. The idea is being wealthy doesn't come from just money. And then the example they give is if someone earns like, I don't know, like $1 million, but then can't take time off from work. And then the author suggests that this person is poorer than the person who makes maybe half, like 100,000, but can, you know, travel whenever he wants, that type. So right, yeah. So in this case, the framework the author presents is like being rich in time, you know, just having the time to do stuff, income, and also mobility, like location wise. Yeah, and then the main point the author wants to make is like lifestyle design, and that you shouldn't wait until retirement to have fun, because you don't even know what your dream retirement is like. Like for example, if you imagine yourself, I don't know, playing golf during retirement, and then you get to retirement, and then you play golf for like a day, and then you're like, this isn't something I want to do for the rest of my retirement. So you could have the author is suggesting you could have experimented with that before to figure out what kind of retirement you want. And not only that you shouldn't wait for like until you're old to enjoy life. Yeah, but the reason I didn't finish this book is because you know, I'm going to enter PolyU's physiotherapy program soon, so like I don't really have a rush to implement. I mean, I don't really have any way to implement these tips just yet. So I might be like reading this later on. And then the last book I finished in this first half of the year is this one. This one is about sleeping better, and it's kind of like the shut-in can book that like the main points can really be summarized in like less than a page. Like these are like my notes, and so the reason I read this is because I bought it like 10 years ago, and I never read it until now. But lately I've been not sleeping that well, so I decided like, why not see what this book has to say. But turns out it was basically stuff I already knew. So the main thing is like good sleep is if you wake up feeling energized, and you should sleep 11 p.m. or before, because sleeping later can affect hormone production like melatonin and estrogen. And also having the lights on at night could lead to, having lights on too late at night would affect this hormone production and lead to different diseases. And then some tips the author gives would be to wake up at the same time every day, even if you sleep later or earlier, and try to avoid napping if possible. But if you do nap, just limit it to 20 minutes. And then another way to fall asleep more easily is to do some sort of sports 4 to 6 hours before sleep. And and then I guess the main thing I've implemented lately from the book is to get out of bed if you haven't fallen asleep in 30 minutes. Because the idea is you want to associate your bed with sleeping only. So if you get in bed, you're immediately in the mindset, it's time to sleep. And so I've been kind of using this both ways. Like if I'm at night and if I'm in bed at night and I can't fall asleep in 30 minutes, I can't just get out of bed for a bit. And also in the morning, like if I'm awake, but then I'm trying to fall back asleep and I can't fall back asleep in 30 minutes, then it's probably my body saying, you have enough energy, so time to get up instead. So that's it for the books I've read this past year. And the book I'm reading right now is Feeling Good by David Burns. And I don't remember where I saw this recommended, but Yeah, I've only read the introduction so far, but it seems pretty interesting. The idea is there are three main ways to treat like mood and depression issues. The first one is drugs. The second one is cognitive behavioral therapy, and the third one is called bibliotherapy, or like reading like self-help books. And the idea is, like, studies suggest that both bibliotherapy can be just as effective as medication without any of the side effects. So that's why I'm taking a look at this book. So that's it for the books I've read this past half a year. And in the next half of the year, I want to cover, other than the Feeling Good book, I want to my goal is to read, I'll see how much time I have, but I'm just going one book at a time. So after Feeling Good, I want to read Sophie's World, because I didn't want to read just non-fiction books. I wanted something like kind of like fiction, non-fiction, so a bit like 1984. And then and I think this book is about something about like philosophy, but also like in like a story format. And another one is I picked this up because it's really popular, but I don't really know much about it yet. And then this book, I read like a chapter 5 years ago, and then I never read it again. So I wanted to finish it, and then especially because the author Daniel Kahneman passed away I think in the past, kind of recently. So I wanted to revisit this book. And then lastly, I just bought this book, Deep Work. Deep Work is, I guess not like the book, but like just being able to jump into a task and focus on something is always something that I've been struggling with. So I'm hoping to see if the book has any insights on that. So that's it for the books, for my book, I guess half a year book review.